Typically don't think it's worth my time to talk about people like Riley Gaines because the reality is she's just a nobody who was a grifter. Riley Gaines finished 5th place in a race in the NCAA in a swim meet because she sucked. Not 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, 5th. And her entire pitiful platform is blame the trans people for my shitty life. Watch this clip and then let's talk.
Truthfully, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off that we've reached a point where we seemingly have an entire political party who has diminished and erased our rights as women. That's exactly what this is. Don't let them frame it any other way. They love to hide behind words like compassion and empathy and inclusion. Let me be very, very clear. What me and what my teammates faced, it was not inclusive. It was exclusive. Because we as women were excluded from participating, from competing, from calling ourselves champions. Because we were sent the message, and there's lots of fingers to point. I mentioned the Democratic Party. You could point a finger at many different institutions, the NCAA being one of them. We were told loud and clear that our rights to safety, our rights to privacy in areas of undressing, our rights to equal opportunity, they didn't matter. They certainly didn't matter as much as the boys' feelings.
You know, you would think that after 8 years in high school, you would be twice as smart as everybody else, but that's clearly not the case. Maybe you should have stayed for another 4 years. You're nothing more than a horde of capitalism. You're a loser. You finished 5th place in a race because you sucked. You didn't finish 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. You finished 5th. And instead of taking responsibility and picking yourself by the bootstraps, I want to blame the trans people. Yeah, my entire platform. Hold on. I see a lot of racist white people in this country. You know what? I can make money off of this. Let me make them angry and they'll like and view and share and I'll get paid to speak and make money and I'll get into culture wars. You know, it's interesting because when I go to Comic-Cons, men and women are in the bathrooms all the time and not one person bitches and moans. Every other country, same thing. They have multi-gender bathrooms. Nobody bitches, but you got to be the victim. It's interesting, right? That you voted for an orange man that wears makeup and diapers, because that's so manly, who has sexually assaulted 26 women, owes E. Jean Carroll $80 million for being an adjudicated rapist, who was protecting pedophiles and who is one himself, who cheats on his wife with a porn star, who has 3 failed marriages, causes an insurrection, led to the death of 5 officers, tax fraud, doesn't rent to black people, literally calls women fat and piggy, and went into teenage girls' locker rooms and watched them get undressed. But somehow that's okay, because it doesn't make you money. That's all you are. It is easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than for a witch woman to get into heaven, and that's what you are. You're a grifter. You're a modern-day Pharisee. You are the reason that God sent Donald Trump here, is to expose the moral rot within his church. It's funny, I don't hear you talk about the officers of January 6th, or the 40,000 people that died from gun violence, or the 14 million kids that go to school hungry, or the 42 million people that need tax dollars just to eat, or people living paycheck to paycheck, or how 3 people own half the wealth, how people don't have universal health care, how we're the only civilized society in the entire world that doesn't have that. But somehow, a man in a women's bathroom is just a bridge too far. It's interesting that 98% of gun violence are men, the vast majority white men, U.S. citizens. How many gun deaths have been committed with a man being in a woman's bathroom or a girl being in a woman's bathroom? Who cares? It's 0. Because you're just a horde of capitalism. That's all you are. So take your bullshit somewhere else with your little Tammy Faye Baker, white evangelical bullshit, and go shove your gold cross up your ass. And you know what? I'm a person of faith. I was named after Paul. And what I'm sick of is people like you weaponizing God and Christianity for money. Because you and Satan have a lot in common. You both believe in God, you both weaponize religion, and neither one of you follow him, because faith without works is dead. Maybe you should try loving thy neighbor as thyself instead of loving thyself. Have a white day, Karen.